It's a very warm welcome to Siri ya Ushindi. This is a new program that is trying to help you understand a world that perhaps you have not been able to visit. And this is life in prison. We are really not talking about how bad, how terrible, but we are looking at the fact that those that have been there have come out successfully and victoriously. And this is because they have found Christ as their personal Savior. So we have very interesting testimonies of our brothers and sisters that have been to prison and have come out as strong Adventists, strong Christians, and serving the Lord in different capacities. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Dr. Kana, and Dr. Kana is a counseling psychologist, and he tells me that he's also a psychiatrist, and currently he is serving with King's Messengers of Nairobi Central Church. He visits prisons to counsel with the prisoners, and he does many other things for the Lord. Dr. Kana, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you this morning. Tell me a little bit, where do you come from?
Well, I was born in Burundi some 57 or 58 years ago. You know, when we were born, there were no books to write it down, no birth certificate at all.
Yes.
So I might end up saying that I'm not sure about my age, but the official document read that I was born in 1960 in Burundi. Then I grew up there. I went to school. Then I did some university studies in Italy, where I did a PhD in philosophy. Then I went to another country of West Africa called Senegal, where I did a master's degree in psychiatry and counseling. Then I ended up in Cameroon, where I did a master's degree in human resource and administration. And I went back to Burundi in 1994, just a few weeks after the genocide.
Okay.
And I worked in Burundi for some few years. Then for my political opinions, I could not agree with the government of that time. I ended up in exile in Kenya, where I arrived in November 2002.
Wow, so you've been in Kenya since 2002.
Yes.
So you're a Kenyan, really?
Somehow, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have come here to share a little bit about your life, an experience that you had with the prisons. Do you want to share a little bit of what happened? How did you end up in prison?
Oh, well, since 2008, some fellow people from Burundi, businessmen, used to come to Nairobi to purchase goods and then go back and sell in Burundi. This fellow did not speak any word of Kiswahili or English. So whenever they came, I was the interpreter. I took them to industry area, to those Indian businessmen. They transact, so and so. Once in a while, they left me with a commission. But happened in 2011, they came, and that time I was busy. I was to facilitate something in Naivasha, and I called another fellow, a person that I thought that I know that person, but I ended up discovering I didn't know him well. And I gave him the mission to take them around, and they transact their business, then they go back. So that morning I went on my trip to Naivasha and left him with my guest. He ended up stealing from them.
Oh.
And I went on my trip, I came back. Then when I came back it was a Sunday morning, I called their phone numbers and their phone were off. I said, good, they finished their transactions,
And
so
left.
they are back in Burundi. Only to discover that late in the afternoon at around 3 p.m., I saw the two fellow Burundian with 6 police officers entering my sitting room. And one of the Burundian pointing at me, he's the one. The one who did what? I didn't know. So they have been told, the police officers have been told, this man, they attacked us with guns, knives, so and so. So essentially, these police officers were first looking for a gun. So they searched my house up and down. And I had a son. At that time, he was 5 years. And children, they are wonderful. My son explained to me later on that for him, somebody having a gun means he's an important person. So, when the police officer asked him, does Dad have a gun? The boy answered yes. So, they have an information, even from my son, that Dad has a gun. So they were sure,
boy.
yes. So they were sure they will find a gun in the house, upside down, but there was no gun, of course. Short, I was taken to Nairobi Central Police Station, detained there for 2 days, then taken to court. After that, I was taken to Industrial Remand Prison, where I stayed for 13 months, and 13 months and 13 days, I think. And thank God, I won the case, I was acquitted, and I went back home.
How did you feel that afternoon to find police officers in your house and you honestly had no clue of what had transpired while you were away on business?
No, that's something you can't understand and you can't explain. You have never stolen from somebody. You can't kill even a mosquito, but you are accused of being a member of a gang. I remember this police officers calling me the mind what, I don't remember the term they used, but anyway, somebody who planned that robbery. And what was more bad for me is that my wife could not believe that I was not part of that robbery. Because there are something we men we do, and at the end it turns up being bad for us. We do it think it is a genuine thing, but you spend the night drinking outside, and at that time your wife does not know where you are. So tomorrow morning, if you are accused of having done something, how does she believe you didn't, and you are not at home? No?
So at that time you used to drink?
Yes. So when my wife was asked, she said, I don't know. He was not here. That's all. So that is another element to tell the policeman, yes, this man was with the robbers. So maybe I will come to that later, but it is alcohol which took me to prison. Because even my wife could not defend me. I was not at home.
So you basically went to prison having been wrongly accused, if I should say.
Exactly.
But you could not prove it at that point because anyway you were not home.
Yes, that's true.
So how was your first day in the cell?
Oh, my first day in the cell at Nairobi Central police station, it was devastating. Because you go there, you are mixed up with some people. Surely, maybe it is pride or what, but somebody, a graduate like me, going there, sleeping on the floor. There is no mattress, there is no blanket, there is nothing at all. You have to go to what they call a toilet, where everybody is observing you. It was devastating. It was just like all my entire life was just crawling down. Yeah.
So you felt quite dehumanized at that point.
I felt just like a simple and a common dog. That is it.
So when you went to court, how did you try to defend yourself?
Well, the court procedure is very, very long. Very, very long. You go to the court, and funny enough, these people talk a language that I could not understand. And they have this habit of talking at a very, very low voice. You don't even get what they are saying. And that's the problem number one. The problem number two, they have a technical language. Even if you get the sentence they are pronouncing, you don't get what they mean. And only I remember one of the officers repeating, "Do you understand that if you are guilty, this offense will convict you to life or death sentence?" And I was, me being sentenced to death? What have I done? Then another one said, "Today we are not here for that. You will ask that question later on." Then I was taken to the industrial remand prison. Yeah.
And so you shifted to a different location within Nairobi, of course. And how was it like? How did you find it a little better than where you were?
Well, after 2 days, I started accepting the fact that I will have to be there for a while. So when I reached Nairobi remand prison, I saw the most rough and tough people I have never seen in my life. They talk like machines and you have to follow. And they also talk a language which is specific to them. So you need some few days, if not weeks, to cope with the language of the place. That's number one. Number two is the food. I tell you, you are given some green water and they tell you this is sukuma wiki because it is green. You have to believe it and swallow it. You are given something looking like ugali, but you are told that it is ugali. No choice. You have to swallow it. So now you can imagine somebody where I come from in Burundi, at that time of mine, in the 60s, in the 70s, and even the late 80s, I saw my father eating ugali only 3 times all the years I lived with him. And he died a very, very old Mzee in 1993. So I saw him eating ugali only 3 times. Where he came from is that a man of my age will eat ugali when there is nothing else to eat.
What do they eat?
In the house. That is it. So me being fed on ugali Monday to Sunday, that was another thing.
What do they eat in Burundi?
We eat bananas, we eat potatoes, we eat many other things.
Yes.
But not ugali like this. No? And unfortunately, I saw even for my fellow Kenyans who are in the same cell like me, they were eating just that ugali because there is nothing else. Because unfortunately, it was ugali without being ugali. No? Just some unga mixed with hot water. No? And so the language, the food, and then this confinement in a small space. Something like 2 meters this side, 3 meters this side. Then you put in some 6, 7, 8, 9 men to sleep there. And I have not been used to this experience. So it was like I'm learning another kind of life.
Yeah.
And I did.
And you did.
Thank God.
God is good.
Yeah.
Now, so how did you occupy yourself? What did you do every day for the 13 months you were in?
Let me say that now I can appreciate this. But at the beginning, I didn't look at it that way. But God was with me from the beginning. You know, when you spend the first night in operation, the following morning, there is what they call identification. And the prison officer who interviewed me that morning, after discovering my credentials, he said, you don't need to stay here idling. We have a school here. I will make sure you are a teacher in that school. And that was a very, very big help, which I neglected in the beginning. But I think after 1 month, coming from court, I met that police officer again, and he told me, but have you been enrolled in a school? I said, no. Come, we go right now. He took me there, and I was picked as a teacher in that school, which was also another kind of learning, because
your background is counseling psychology?
No, let me say that previously I have been also a primary school teacher, but at that time I was 20 years old. Now, and that was the early 80s. Now it is 20 and more years after, and I have been in university, lecturing here, counseling there, now going back to primary school teacher, standard 5, surely. Okay, it was another learning. I did it, and the officers there, the welfare officers, really appreciated. I think they noticed something was not correct, and at the end, I was picked to be the librarian of the prison, because they have a library, and also to be now recruiting the teachers for that school.
Okay.
Somehow I was promoted. So, but that being a teacher in that school, although I was looking at it as the meaning from the beginning, it came to be a very, very big help. Yeah.
At least to your intellect.
To my intellect, and also, let me say, to the other inmates, because once they realized that I have some knowledge in psychology and counseling, I ended up being a counselor. I was consulted on daily basis. Whoever has a problem here, another problem there, they came to me. And I thank God some of them were assisted. Yeah.
And did they come to you on their own volition, or were they sent to you through the prisons?
No. They came to me on their own.
On their own.
And in most of cases, at night.
At night.
Yeah.
What were some of the issues you think were really affecting them? What are some of the issues they shared with you?
Issues were many, but the issue number one is some of them being desperate that they will not make it out of that prison. And they started thinking that, oh, I will never see my parent again. Oh, I will not see my friend again. You know, and the prisoners, you can put them in many categories. Let me say that those who are with a family outside and those who are with no family outside, they are different. They are facing different problems. You know, when you know that you didn't leave any saving at home and you have left children and a wife there, they suffer and they will suffer with them, even if you are not together.
Yeah.
And for example, your child performs well in school, but he can't go to school because you are not there to pay the school fees.
Yeah.
Your wife is not working and she has no money to pay rent. That is where we end up having this family being destroyed, completely dismantled. The wife give the children to your family and she goes back to where she came from. So now, you know, even when you are to be released, you don't have where to go. You don't have an address. So then we have the young people. The young people, sometimes they are innocent and they are not very, very cautious of what they are going through. For example, somebody have been arrested on the street being a chocolate. That one, you don't have the same problem with him. The problem he has is just to eat and sleep.
Yeah.
You see them playing like if they were outside. But that means that they are not aware of what is going them, how their future is going to depend on that time they are spending there. They are learning more bad habits being in prison, and they mixed up with all the prisoners, and their life will never be the same again. If it was even to be better, now it is being worsened because of the environment. So both of them, they need help. Yeah.
When we are now just going to take a short break, and when we come back, we would like to know, how did Dr. Kana become an Adventist? He has just told us that he went to prison due to drinking. Of course, the thing that took him to prison was different. He was accused of having robbed business people. But then he says he believes it was mainly due to drinking because he was hardly home. But then the good news is that Dr. Kana is an Adventist Christian and now very actively involved in prisons ministries. Why don't you join us after the break to hear more? Welcome back to Siri ya Ushindi. My name is Catherine and our special guest today is Dr. Kana. And Dr. Kana is an ex-prisoner, and but by profession he's a counseling psychologist. In our first part of the program, he did share of his experience in prison and what took him to prison. But we want to move on and ask Dr. Kana, how did you become an Adventist then?
Oh, a long story. I grew up in a Catholic family. And I even ended up in a school called a seminary to become a priest. And that's how I ended up in Rome.
Okay.
Yes. I was in a university very, very close to the Vatican City.
Okay.
And I met even I think 3 times. But I met him in a very, very friendly environment in 1988 when the Catholic bishops of Burundi came to visit him. So they invited all the Burundian community to join them. So we were in a small room, maybe for 20 or 30 people. And that man called Pope was there. That time it was the one from Poland, John Paul II. And I grew up in that environment. As you can see, I went even far and high, meeting even the Pope.
Yeah.
But my life in Italy influenced a lot my Christian life. While in Burundi, I could not see what exactly is Catholicism. I could not see. Because we grew up with those Wazungu priests with their white gowns, a very, very hidden life, a mysterious one almost, and you don't see exactly what they are and who they are. Well, I came back to Burundi, and unfortunately, when I went back to Burundi, the last time it was the time of the genocide, and I saw the behavior of these people called men and women of God. And I don't want to go to that in details, but my own father was killed inside a Catholic church. And another moment, we went to a church service. I think it was Christmas 1994. Don't remember well. And a Catholic bishop who was coming from the other tribe, for your information, I am a Tutsi, the people who are victims during the genocide. And we went in that cathedral, and the bishop, who knew me because I was a former senior seminarian, he went on insulting us, attacking our tribe. I was with some 2 friends who are serving in the military. And when the time of the Holy Communion came, this man, so-called man of God, refused to serve us. So my friend who was in the military told me, today it is bad, let us get out. I got out of that church, December 1994, and I never went back to any church until the year 2015.
Okay.
Yes. So, 21 years down the line, I never entered any church. If you have a wedding, you are my friend, you invite me, I say, good, I will contribute. I will come, but I will wait for you outside the church. If you have a funeral, the same. I will never enter any church. But in the year 2015, I was doing some translations for a Sudanese person from English to Italian. And the first time he paid me, the second time he paid me, but the third time he started creating stories and he didn't pay my money. When I made pressure on him, instead of paying me, he went back. I didn't know, but he accused me at a police station that reporting me, and with my picture, my phone number, my full name, so and so, that I am an Al-Shabaab member. So a Saturday morning, I was arrested. These people were following me, maybe tracking me using my phone, but I was in a city hopper bus approaching Nairobi Pentecostal Church on Valley Road, and somebody entered the bus, looked around, and said, "He must be the one. Are you the so-called Kana Aster, so and so, so and so?" I said, "Yes. We are police officers. Follow us." I was taken to a police station. I will not name which one, but what I saw there was very, very scary. I spent the first night there, and I tried to call home. At some point I managed to call, but the phone of my wife was off mysteriously. I got also scared, but maybe she have also been arrested. I managed to send a text to a friend of ours, "Pray for me, I'm in trouble." Then she replied, "You, Dr. Kana, asking for prayers? You? Because we have been discussing this religious matter for many, many times, and I was always brushing her away. That these people, you are talking about God. Who is that God? Where is that God? When all this happened to me, where was he, so and so?" You see. Then, in the middle of the night, I don't want to exaggerate that it was a vision, but somehow I had a voice. A voice you can't confuse with any other voice, talking to me in this way. "You, Kana, a doctor of philosophy, a psychologist, so and so. When you talk to people, they listen to you. And they respect your words. How does it come you can't talk directly to your God? What is the problem you have?" Okay. I pretended that I
You did not hear the voice?
Yes. Okay. I spent the Sunday there. On Monday night, at around 4 a.m., the same voice came. Then I took it seriously. I started asking myself, but maybe, I have been hearing people saying that, "Oh, an angel talked to me, God talked to me." But for a philosopher, where does it come from that God talks to you when you are sleeping or when you are... I got scared. I started thinking now as a psychologist, because of the pressure I'm going through here, maybe I'm going crazy. How is it? No? Hey, those are hallucinations. But as I continue denying that voice, the same voice keeps coming back. Fortunately, I was released on Monday morning. Mysteriously. Because it is very, very rare that a policeman arrests you, detain you in a cell, and release you without asking any money from you. That is very, very rare. These people who arrested me did not even search my pockets. Very strange. Okay. I went back home, but on my way home, I continued thinking about that voice. And when I reached home, I told my wife, I need to see a pastor.
Was your wife going to church?
Yes, she was, and she's still a Pentecostal up to date. But I told her I need to see a pastor. Then she told me, Baba Grace, stop joking. You seeing a pastor? I said it is serious. She arranged with some ladies of her church, and two of these ladies were pastors. She arranged, and then she took me there the Monday morning of the following week.
Yeah.
But to go and reach that room where these pastors were, it was very, very hard for me. Now these people know me. They know what I have been saying about pastors and churches, so and so. What are they going to think? And then I remember I told my wife, when we reached that place, but I don't want to meet a big group. She told me, no, there are only two, and me, we are three. To reach that room, we have to go upstairs. I tell you, to climb those stairs for me, it was like going up Mount Kilimanjaro. No. Two in front, one back. Napanda mbili, nashuka moja. Then my wife turned back. Come, we go. There is no problem. I reached that room. In short, I was looking for a pastor. She could take me only where she's going. So I went there. They gave me some testimonies, long story, so and so, how they became Christians themselves. One of them was, I think, at some point even worse than me, because she was managing some 2-night club, drinking with men, so and so. She ended up divorcing, so and so. Then she told me, even you can make it, if I made it. Which I accepted. Preparation, 6 months after baptism. That Nairobi, I don't know, remember how it's called, International Holiness Pentecostal Church. Baptism. Going there every Sunday. But surely, it is very, very hard to convince a philosopher. Things were not adding up. No. I don't want to criticize them too much, but I remember one day I went to that church, and there was a woman who was preaching, and she stood up and said, "You people, you come here when the moment of offering comes. You are here to give coins, 10 shillings, so and so. Something which cannot buy even a soda. You are here joking with who? With God?" Then it happened that day, I have saved intentionally 10 shillings from my bus fare as an offering. I have left my house walking to the church with my son, sweating. It was a very, very sunny day. And now this person is telling me that I'm just joking with God, with all the effort I have made. I said, no, here something must be wrong. Okay. Another day, another preacher came. There are people here who are insulting God. How can you come here with your Thanksgiving prayers and you can't even give to the church at least 2,000 Kenyan shillings? I don't want to see anybody coming here anymore with... Okay, I said, I was also planning for a Thanksgiving, but as I don't have the 2,000 shillings, maybe it is a sign that I am in a wrong place. It is during that time I got the number of Pastor Kidenge. You know, I saw him in prison. In that prison, I could not approach him and ask him his phone number. He could not give me. By the way, it is not even in my interest. But I got his number, then I called him. I said, I want to see you. Then give me an appointment. We met the first time. We talked about the problem in prison. How am I doing? So and so, so and so. Then we talked about rehabilitation a bit. And we agreed to meet another time. When we met the second time, he took me to an office. Told me there is somewhere we can go and sit and talk. Let us go there. We went there. And when we reached that place, there was a man in called Benson Ocheng. We talked about some 1-2 minutes with Pastor Kidenge. Then this man Benson interfered. But Dr. Kana, excuse me. And it was the first time he sees me. But Dr. Kana, excuse me. If it is like that, why didn't you become a Muslim? Well, there is no difference between what you are saying and the Muslims. Then I was saying, me becoming a Muslim? What is it? Then he started telling me about the different Christian denominations, how they use the Bible, how some of them are even modifying it intentionally so to pass the messages they want. Then he told me the only Christian denomination I know that it does not cheat on the Bible is the Seventh-day Adventist. You are an intellectual. You can read. You can understand the text. Take your time. If you are willing, me, I'm ready to take you through that Bible study.
Okay.
With humility, I accepted. Because now, surely, at my age, with all my studies, again, studying Bible. For what? Okay. I accepted. Then he took my contact. I took also his number. Then we met, I think, after 2 days. To make the story short, I went to his office for something like a month or a month and a half. Then he took me through what he thought it was very, very important for me to understand. And I appreciate that he respected my my level of studies because, and he's a good teacher, by the way, but we went through the controversy, the Sunday law, the fundamental beliefs, all that stuff. And at some point, I asked him, but Benson, I think now what I know is enough. What is the way forward? And then he told me, that is upon you to decide.
Okay, so he didn't force you into a decision.
No, it is upon you to decide. If you want to come where we are, you are welcome, but you are still having time to think about. And I told him, I don't think that I have time to waste again. I'm 56 years old, and I don't know how many years are left. So it is better I change now. Then from there, he invited me, go to church, to see now how these people worship. Then we started going to different churches. He told me, I will take you to many churches so you see the kind of worship we have, then you will decide. In short, I was baptized here at Nairobi Central Church in August 2016.
Amen.
Amen.
That's the good news. And we really thank God for your life. We want to thank God for the life of Dr. Kana. He has shared with us his experience and his journey of faith and how the Lord finally spoke to him and led him to believe that God is real. And we hope you have enjoyed the program. Dr. Kana is available, especially to the ex-prisoners who are struggling to come to terms with life after prison. And if perhaps you're also struggling with certain issues that you'd like him to counsel you on, please feel free to do so. You can get his contact through Hope Channel Kenya. We are so thankful that you are watching this program. We look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you. Until then, God bless. Dr. Kana, thank you very much. You have a moving story.
Thank you.
Actually, we should do a book from this. I think you have so much that cannot be shared in one program. We will certainly invite you again. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you too.
Thank you.